concerned.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker, and this is WPwatercooler, episode number 284. We're talking about groups on Facebook today. It's going to be awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right? All right. Well, let's go around this very vast room. Everyone has 10 minutes to talk. Russ, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Russ. I work at a WordPress shop. I do WordPress stuff, and I'm Russ. I work at Web Dev Studios, and I also do support. So, like, we support up to like 500 plus websites. I've seen it from every angle, and I'm an admin of the advanced Facebook group, of the WordPress hosting group, of the plugin suggestion group, and of like probably every other group that you're going to go subscribe to today.
Awesome.
After this conversation.
Good to have you on, Russ. As always, Say Reed, how about you?
Oh, hey, hi. I'm Say Reed. I make WordPress, teach WordPress, preach WordPress at Say Reed Media on all the things. I'm actually introducing some new accounts. I just debuted a new one on Instagram called Hello, This Is Say, where I'm gonna get political and newsy so that the people who follow my other ones don't have to be inundated.
Yay!
I can't hold back. Can't hold back anymore.
Is that Instagram / Hello This Is Say, or how do we find you? All right.
Yes, it is. Hello, This Is Say. Hello.
So for like the last couple of weeks, you've been like teasing us with this whole idea of a new something. Can you talk about the new something real quick?
It's been under wraps for so long that even though we have like it's like signed and like a done deal, I'm still like super nervous about it for some reason. I know.
Fine. Well, you know what?
We're gonna do a whole thing on it. I think at the end of August, I will want to like show it off to everybody. But I can't do that right yet because I am paranoid.
So just do what I do and just like totally, cyber stalk Say for a moment, and you'll be able to find some stuff about it.
Yeah, because Jason did that. He found me, and I was like, "Oh, you followed the link."
Oh, what's up with that? Anyhow, I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter. My website is jasontucker.blog, and I do a show on this very network right here, WP Watercooler. It's called WP Blab, and we talked about some really fun stuff last week, this week. And then this show last week and this week, all this stuff kind of ties into groups of people and getting people to kind of interact with each other and networking, both online and offline. Yesterday's topic, we talked about networking the right way. I love when we use these these terms where it's like, we're going to totally explain to you how to do networking. So it's networking the right way, a guide to attending, speaking, and hosting meetups. So feel free to go take a look at that one. It was pretty awesome.
The wrong way. Like, let's talk about how to not network. Because
we totally did that too. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So definitely go take a look at that one. That's episode number 109.
Bridget went on some rants last night, and I was like, "Get it, girl." Get it, woman. Sorry.
It was pretty good.
Look at you upgrading.
Sorry. Yes, I know. She was just speaking some truth, and I was like, preach.
Totally. So look, we have 121, at least that I've counted so far, 121 groups in Facebook that have the word WordPress in it. 121 of them.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's too many.
Of which I'm in 26 of them. And I think Russ probably admins all 26 of those. So I don't know, but I would imagine so.
I'm an admin of a lot of them, yes.
I have turned off a lot of notifications, let me tell you.
Oh my gosh, no joke.
I basically only know if someone that I'm friends with posts anywhere and then I pay attention. Otherwise, I can't deal with that. No mo.
So I definitely turned off the post where like anytime there's a new thing in like one of these groups, I turn it off. But like I do have specific things where like if this word is mentioned, then I will jump on and be like, okay, let me just see if there's any, like I do play referee to some words, but like I don't need to be notified anytime someone's like, what's the best plugin for Jetpack?
Do you have is that an auto notification with a word? You can like trigger a notification for a word?
No, it's more like you're
just screening.
I was
wait, you're blowing my mind right now. I didn't know you could do that, but you can.
It's kind of like Slack where you can hook up the feed and then in Slack, like it will just give you a thing and like it will ping me when there's a word. So I'm watching it that way. Like I have integration.
Gotcha.
There is. Oh.
I know people.
So wait, hold on. I'm not that we should not talk about Facebook groups, but I just want to be clear here. You have your Facebook group notification tied into your Slack?
I
Is that what you're telling me?
I have a few tied into it. Yes.
God, Lord, no wonder everyone's crippled when Slack goes down.
Right?
They're like, I have nothing, no feeds, no images.
When Slack goes down, that's like the 20 minutes a month that I get to work on my own personal pet projects. So, you're welcome.
I'm free from slacking. I like it when Slack is down, slacking happens.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk about the approach of somebody who's brand spanking new to WordPress. They already went and installed WordPress on their web host.
Probably against the code of conduct.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, sorry.
The brand spanking new one, and they got it all set up, and they're like, okay, I'm doing something other than a cat blog. I'm going to be selling something, or I just need to figure out how to customize this thing a little bit more than what Customizer itself could do, or what Envato or one of those freaking plugin theme things that they're using isn't working right or something, and they're like, I need to figure out how to use this. I'm gonna go into Facebook real quick. I'm gonna do a search for the word WordPress, and then 121 of these groups show up, and you are now tasked at figuring out which one you should go into in order to be able to interact. So you have the first one, which is WordPress with a period at the end for some reason, and that one has 21,000 members in it.
Because it's just WordPress, period.
Just WordPress. Just WordPress.
WordPress, period.
Period. Yeah. So you have that one. Then you have like WordPress hosting. Okay. Then you have WordPress SEO and internet questions. Don't understand that one. WordPress plugin suggestions. WordPress help. No ads allowed. It just goes down. I mean, everything after that. So what should somebody do who's brand spanking new to this?
Stop looking on Facebook for all your answers. That's
but they do. They all do.
So what you should do...
Google's a better friend to you than Facebook in this situation.
At this point, like, hopefully you should have sought out some kind of information on Meetup, and you would meet somebody like Say could say, hey, I know this group would probably be able to help, but I mean, like, let's just say they're not even part of a Meetup. I think people like to go straight to the top, so they're going to see the word advanced WordPress, and that's the first place they're joining. And you need to know that is the wrong group to join for your first WordPress. That is like the wrong tattoo to get for your first tattoo. It's just don't go join that group right away.
I think actually that the way that the admins respond to some of those situations is actually detrimental to the the there's a lot of
we're actually getting there. We're getting there.
Right. Yeah, I missed the whole pre-show. Sorry, but can I make that point now?
Yeah, please.
Fire when ready.
Well, basically, it's like you jump into a thing, and there are some, let's be real, basic questions that are asked in the advanced WordPress group or whatever, Facebook group. But the response to that is generally either just a straight up delete your post, like with no notification, or
we used to notify people, and that was a horrible process.
Then you get a back and forth and a conversation, whatever. But so you just either delete it, or you get like a smackdown reply where it's like, this isn't here, this is not advanced. It's not even like, oh, this is the wrong group for that. Generally, a lot of the times in the advanced group, it's like, how dare you ask that question here? There's a lot of that, which is it's a typical developer answer, actually.
So I'm
going to get exclusive to Facebook or WordPress.
I'm gonna give you a quick behind the scenes. So that we actually do have a hidden group called AWP Admins where we all talk, where all of us talk, and we do see these things, and we're like, hey, how should we handle this? And then all the admins do get on the same page, and we say, how do we do this? So most of the admins, if not all of the admins, have the same kind of answer. But then you get the people who are trying to become an admin. So they're trying to do their due diligence and earn their cred points or earn their kudos. And I think those are the people you're talking about, where they're like, this isn't advanced, but like, Jason and I we're talking about this, right? How do we know that person's level of advanced? Like, to me, if you ask me about Jetpack, I'm going to tell you that it's not an advanced question because I know George. I hang out with him on the show every week. I know him. But to somebody who's coming into WordPress for the first time, how to turn on Jetpack might be the most advanced thing that they're doing. So
Are
like,
you saying George isn't advanced? Because that's what I got out of it. I'm just kidding.
And that's why there's an immediate group. And not only there's an immediate group, there's also
a beginner group.
There's probably like a are you a fetus or not group. There's probably a whole bunch of these types of things. It's like, you know,
the point I'm getting at is like a lot of these spin up groups have come off of the advanced group because we got tired of like, hey, what's the best plugin to do this, right? Like you said, say like there should have been a Google search. You probably would have come to WP Beginner that said, here's the best plugin to do whatever it is. But you decided to not do your own research and you asked the Facebook group. So like I kind of fault you a little bit, and like you deserve to be yelled at a little bit. Not you, but the person who asked it. But
it's like, what did I do?
But we do have this group called the plugin suggestion group, and all the admins will say, hey, this is more suited over there. Go check this out. But you're right. There is a lot of like, this isn't advanced. Why are you here? What's your problem? We're not even talking about code here. Like there's too much of that going on.
I think the thing is you can't treat Facebook as a Slack team. Like you have the idea of a Slack team and you have a Slack channel. You can't treat Facebook itself as the Slack team and then have all of these groups act as channels, because none of these things show up unless you actually go and do a search. It's not like there's a thing on there that says like, are you going to ask a dumb question? You should go ask it here. Or you could ask a smart question. Well, you should go ask it here. Are you going to ask about this thing about plugins? Oh, make sure you go ask it over here. That stuff exists.
In the advanced group, it does exist because there are rules that says like, okay, if
but no one's reading that crap.
Then and that's where that's where I'm going with this is that we have tried to proactively take these steps and say like, hey, before you join the advanced Facebook group, what does rule number 2 say? And then like, they're not reading the rules. They're just going to go read rule number 2. So like, we have to do a better job of that.
I would like to make a suggestion specifically for this. I saw this recently in I don't know, some group. I didn't join it, or I did, or I don't know. I don't even remember. But in the cover photo, they had the rules, not on some file subtab.
Oh yeah,
but the cover photo said, was it in advanced WordPress had that? Now it just has a circle, but like that is like, it's right here. You don't even have to click. Like, why would that go away? Why did you take that away? That makes no sense.
I personally did not take it. I personally didn't take it away. It was a decision like, we're going to do this now because we have these rules. We all agreed on these rules. So we're going to change the cover. I mean, I agree. It should
or at least on the cover say, check the rules prior to posting. You know what I mean? And then like a little arrow, like right here.
No one's going to do that. No one's going to do that.
I'm the biggest fan of ad hoc signage. Like, I want something that says yield pedestrian crossing here. Like, I do. I want a sign that says like, hey, before you go ask that question, did you do this? And, it just says like, did you turn your brain on? Yes or no? Like, I do want that. I agree.
Well, it just, the thing is that people are coming in here, they're not thinking about any of that stuff. And a lot of the questions, the repeat questions, they're obviously not doing their due diligence, right? People are just throwing a question in there, looking for an answer. I feel like that's a song. Are we human? Okay.
Oh,
sorry. But like, basically they toss it in there, they're looking for an answer, and they're not necessarily making that distinction. They're not going through and looking or searching the groups to see if that question's been asked and answered before. Everyone in that situation is treating the Facebook groups basically like a live Google, like a Google with people that are attached to it as opposed to algorithms. So really, the admin's response to all of that should be taking their question and putting it in the LMGTFY. Let me Google that for you, and have that as the response. Like, that would be the best response to everything. Not you're asking this in the wrong spot or anything like that.
We did do that for a while, but then like the public backlash was like, how come you're not just helping me? Why are you giving me this link? So I mean, like, I promise that like whatever we come up with, we have tried, double tried, and triple tried, and like,
I totally get it. I totally get it.
Is there actually a problem? Maybe you're just doing a fine job moderating, and people are going to ask stupid questions, and as the moderators, you have to be like, that's a stupid question, go ask it over here. And what's the problem with that? Are people complaining? Are they mad?
I don't think people are complaining. It's that
annoying.
it's that I care about WordPress as much as you and Jason do, and I do want someone to come get the help. But like at the same time, you know, we talked about this last week with why we don't go to meetups or why advanced people aren't going to meetups. It's because like I've heard this question 15,000 different times. I don't want to answer it again. Like Jason said, here's my video. We'll just watch it for 30 minutes. Like, you know, let me know. Like we do post that link, and then if anyone ever showed up to the advanced Facebook group, there is a search, and they could just type in Jetpack, and they could see all the Jetpack plugins, or they could just type in contact form and see all the content, but they're not doing that. And I think that this is a lack of...
But that's the problem. It's not about whatever. It's just they're looking for answers. So I'm saying they're not necessarily like vetting their own questions. They're not necessarily always Googling first. You know, it's just like,
and we hype up Googling first. They are definitely not Googling first. That is for sure.
We hype up the community so much. You know, it's like WordPress community, you get answers, there's responses. You know, Alex Vasquez did a competition with one of the SBDC people, and they did like a Wix versus WordPress, who can get like the site spun up first. And you know, basically it was like the same. The difference was Alex tipped the scales by posting in a Facebook group and demonstrating the response from the community. Like he posted a simple question, and within the next, while they were still on the phone or on the chat waiting for Wix
30 different answers. Yeah.
Right. He's like, "Rrr." And so the community.
How'd that go?
"Rrr."
Okay.
Those are clear. The community did, you know, is that benefit, and we hype it, and it's important. And then we also are like irritated when people come to meetups and act like people, and then when they're in Facebook and they're doing that. Like there's actually this weekend I had this expression that was great, that actually is very deep if you look past the surface. People gonna people. It's my new favorite. My new favorite phrase. People gonna people. Like,
gonna people.
Isn't that good? It's so good.
That's good. I like that.
It's my new mantra in life. It's like, you know what? People gonna people. And if we expect them to, these people who are looking for an answer for their site, they're like, what do I do? I need help. They're gonna just go try to get all the answers and all the help, and, you know, not necessarily do that in the right way. They're not thinking about, oh, Russ is spending his time giving me an answer. They're just like, you're a blip to them. You're pixels. You're not a real person. You're live Google, you know? And that, I think, is part of the problem, because people feel entitled to these answers in these groups and in this community. And because everything's free and it's all community based and whatnot, people start to have expectations that they can get all of the answers in a nice little bow in a comment for them. Like that's what people are looking for.
I am not expecting anybody to go drop my link in their footer. I'm not expecting anyone to, like, you know, give me any kind of praise, but, you know, like at some point it would be nice to be like, hey, solved, and then put like at Russell help solve this. And at least like I get some kind of credibility. So when somebody does go Google search a Jetpack thing, someone knows this, and then maybe I can get some kind of business that way to me. Like we could help. Because like you said, I do take the time out of my personal day and out of my life. I do want to help people. I'm not expecting anything.
Right, and that's awesome. But at a certain point in time, you're also like, I am not expecting anything, so I can't give you this basic stuff over and over. Like, it's not worth your time that you're donating. I think your idea of putting that solved at like best answer, like following like the Yahoo answers, or like, you know, all of that, like that makes a lot of sense. Because also, how do you ever know if the thread is solved, or if it's, you know, you read all the comments and you're like, which answer is, what happened with this? Like there's no conclusions.
Some people will do that, like in a lot of the hosting groups, that they do require that if it is solved, you put like the bracket, like kind of like a short code and like a star, and it says solved. But like I would like you to tag the person to help you solve it. You know what I mean? This suggestion was key. Yeah. And at least that just shows my worth, right? Like,
well, it shows the interaction. You know what I mean? It's like you took your time to help this person and this person got an answer from you. It shows the humanness, other than I put a question in a Facebook group and a bunch of bots responded and I concluded my own answer, or I didn't, or whatever. Like, I think a lot of those comments are missing that. And so if someone goes in there and types and is looking for a contact form, why is anyone looking for contact form 7? Like, come on. But like, you know, they go in there and they're looking for some plugin.
Because contact form 6 just won't do it.
But like, so they're looking for this, and then they see all these threads. Then they have to sit there and figure out the answer again from all of the different threads. So that's not even necessarily like helping. So to say, oh, this has been answered already, go search, and you'll find your answer. What they really are finding is a bunch of questions with possible answers, you know, which is basically the same thing they could get on like Yahoo Answers or whatever the hell.
What I was taught when I came into the WordPress community is you give thanks where thanks are due. So like I reached out to somebody one time in the advanced Facebook group and I was like, hey, how do I figure this out? And this person was like, oh, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, hey, do you have a personal website? They sent me the link. And in my plugin on .org to this day, it says Viper007, Alex, whatever his name is, that dude. I linked to him, and I'm like, this is because I asked this guy, and it's possible. Like, in my plugin still, I'm giving thanks to this person. And, like, you know, if somebody opens the source code or goes look on GitHub, at least they know, you know, like, where my source came from. But now it's like I give you this answer, and you just take it, and then you pass it off as your own. And now you're going to, like, it's like all these people that come in and they're like, you know, I have a client who has a question. And I'm like, well, at this point, I'm not answering it because I also have a support company, and like me giving you the answer makes your question or your company more valuable than mine. And that's where when I say I don't expect anything, but I do expect, like, @Russ help me with this. Maybe there's a chance that that client does Google and they go onto the advanced Facebook group and they do see their previous developer didn't know what they're talking about, and I do. Maybe there is that chance. Something that's going to help. But like, I don't work
there is really important what you're talking about, because I think there are a lot of people who post in advanced WordPress or in these various groups, and they're like, and probably a lot more of them who don't phrase it this way are also doing
I'm a WordPress support tech. And you're like, really?
Yeah. Or like, you know, I have a client, I'm trying to build a site for a client that does, you know, XYZ complicated thing. How do I do that? My response to that is, you shouldn't be working for this person if you don't know what you're doing and you're asking in a Facebook group, and you're probably making WordPress look bad. You're probably taking advantage of that person, and you know, you're damaging everybody for money and also expecting us to do the work. So those situations I think are really bad. But how do you make the distinction if someone doesn't say, oh, I'm working on this site for a client? A lot of the questions that are happening in there are happening for clients or are happening for work issues that people are trying to figure out. So I think that's a hard, like, we're only helping people who have cat blogs and need their own help and are DIY, or we're helping other developers grow and learn, or we're helping developers help their clients. Like, it's a fuzzy land. And I think that there's a lot of the way that you approach your question shows how you're treating the community. You know what I mean?
There's even points where I'm like, hey, I'm not clear what you're asking. Can you please, like, show me the page where this is happening? Well, no, because it's not built yet, or my client has an NDA, and it's just like, it's all this. And it's like, at some point it will reveal its head that, like, this is somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and they're a support shop, and they're not whatever, and they're looking for guidance. And like, again, I'm happy to help you, but like, you know, you're getting paid X amount of dollars. I'm giving this for free, and I'm making you look good. At least, you know, give me a little bit of love back. Something, you know.
Yeah, or at least like the basic appreciation, like in the group on the question. And I think that is the etiquette when you have 121 groups, right? When you have one group or 10 groups, it's easier to maintain consistency throughout all of those things and have that. But these 120 groups are run by all sorts of different people. Anyone can put up a WordPress group. And a lot of those people who put up WordPress groups are putting it up in order to get business. So some of those are put up by developers who are like, WordPress help, you know, and basically every, you know, question that comes up, they're like, DMing the person and being like, I can help you over here for money. So like, like there's nothing consistent within each of these individual groups. And there's no real clear way for the user who's coming in to even distinguish themselves. Like, especially now that advanced WordPress doesn't have that question thing at the top, like, how would I know? Like, I'm really going to files. Like, is there even a pinned post? There's not even a pinned post. So like, I don't know, like, how are they supposed to know?
I would say that Facebook wasn't designed for this. Like Facebook, when you take the Facebook algorithm, the typical algorithm of, I want to make sure that I see all my mom's posts on Facebook. I want to make sure that my racist uncle doesn't show up on my Facebook. I want to make sure that this doesn't show up. Like, you can do all this kind of messing with the algorithm a little bit, essentially applying a layer on top of it of filtering. But then Facebook's algorithm itself isn't made for like a group of 20,000, 30,000 people that are going to just nonstop post, how do I fix this? How do I fix that? I'm proposing that if you're really wanting to get into doing either support type work, or trying to drum up additional business, or you just want to be a nice person and actually answer questions or ask questions, look outside of Facebook. Like, Facebook is not the end all be all. When we first started this, Say's like, oh my God, why are you even using Facebook? I mean, really, you should be using the forums that are built into, WordPress's plugin repo. Look at those first. And then the other places is I would definitely look at Stack Exchange. Like, Stack Exchange itself, you look at some of these posts, there's 700, 900, 10,000 views on one freaking thing.
We need to be realistic about who are the people that are asking support questions in Facebook groups. Like, those are not people who are also going over to Stack Exchange and sorting through that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not.
They're Facebook users. And the thing is Facebook wasn't even made for you to like. There's no way to like put like a backtick and then your code and then another backtick or any kind of way of like presenting code in any reasonable manner. So because of that, people will put in like Pastebin or Gist or any of these sorts of things to kind of get you to go look at this formatted text. Well, the thing that's bad about that is if you take like the function you're having a problem with and you paste it into the search box in Facebook search for that group, you're never going to find your answer because that function doesn't exist in the text because you can't post, you can't post code into Facebook properly.
Right.
Or
so
something like Stack Exchange.
The same way that someone else described it. And, it becomes then about like weird SEO algorithms matching up.
Right.
And stuff,
which is what I was telling Russ before we even got live is like, when back in the day, I'm going to date myself here. Back in the day, you had this yellow book that would show up on your front porch. And it was the way of trying to figure out like, who's in the white pages, who's in the yellow pages, and you need to call a plumber. So you open it up and you're like, is it a plumber or is it a pipe engineer or is it a pipe consultant or is it what is it? Like, what do you call this like plumber person? Is it my toilet's broken? So do I search for toilet? Is it my sink's clogged? Do I search for sink? It's that sort of thing.
I use the law analogy. Like you get in an accident. Do you call a personal injury attorney? Do you call an insurance attorney? Do you call like a family attorney? Like, cause my kid was in the car, like, which lawyer goes where? And then, what sucks about all that is you pay $500 consulting fee to all of them and you still don't get your answer.
So take that whole idea that you just came up with, Russ, and then try to apply it to one of these 100 and something Facebook groups. Is it an advanced problem? Well, it's an advanced problem for me because I'm not a plumber. Okay, is it an intermediate problem? Actually, I'm a plumber. I know everything about this stuff. Intermediate, why would I go into that? Beginner plumber? Beginner plumber, come on.
It should be
beginner plumber is a good name for a band, by the way.
Maybe advanced WP should actually be advanced developer WordPress. You know what I mean? Like, and that would differentiate between what we're talking about because, like you're saying, Jason, advanced WordPress. What does that mean? Totally relative to the person that you are. Advanced WordPress for me is like, doing the REST API. Advanced WordPress for some people is like installing a plugin. Like, what is that? Like, and for some people, the REST API is like easy stuff. And they're like, building new, so that's all relative.
Yeah, Roy, stop making the REST API look so easy, Roy.
Exactly. I do want to say that part of this problem is that these Facebook
groups
have purported to be solutions. They're presenting themselves as, here, come here, ask questions, have community. And yet it's not like we're saying not necessarily the best place for those things. It's not, but there's 121 groups that sure do say that that's the best place for that conversation. And I don't see a lot of those groups saying, hey, this is a great question you should ask in the WordPress.org forums, or let me link to a .org resource or something like that. That's not what's happening. So what's happening in the Facebook group is it's purporting to be a support network, and it's also at the same time frustrated by the fact that it is a support network, while it's also trying to be a social network and a social place for these people to hang out. Like the OCWP group used to be way more fun, and now it's like, how dare you post that thing? It's not related. And it's like, oh, I thought we were just, this is a group for people in this group. Like, what are we doing now? Now there's rules.
I still appreciate it to this day. Like anytime somebody comes to our Vegas meetup, I'm like, listen, you're going to go over and you're going to find this Vegas WordPress meetup, and you're going to get answers from me, John, and other people who are not even here tonight. We want to help, but we want you to ask, like a good question and state some source. Like I do put that kind of prerequisite out there, and I will go that extra mile, and I will say like, hey, wait a minute, are you talking about this? And like some days I'll just be like, what's everyone working on? Like, just to get a conversation going. Like I noticed that too. Our group started to not be fun, and like I didn't want to be a part of it, or I wanted to take a break. So like I'm taking it upon me to help. But again, at the same time, like I need a little interaction from you as well, and like it comes together. That's how we fix this.
Community is a two-way street.
Oh, and with that said, community, I want to say thank you very much to my community for coming and hanging out. We actually had folks in the chat room that were asking questions. I know we never load up the chat room except for me, but I had people that were in there like, oh, community. It'd be really great to find community on Facebook. I really wish Stack Exchange actually had community. There's a whole bunch of these types of things that are happening. So
maybe we should just start a WordPress community group on Facebook where we can just be social WordPress geekus.
Right, exactly.
And not have to be like, ask me questions.
Exactly.
Can we just start a group called WordPress Judge, and we'll be like approved or sustained?
All right, folks. Well, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us. People in the chat room, I want to say thank you for coming and hanging out with us as well. Go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe, where you can learn to subscribe to this particular content. We're on everything. No joke. If you can listen to music on your phone, search for WP Water Cooler or WP Blab. It's in there. It's on Spotify.
It's on Google Play, dude.
I just want to point out real quick that there is a group called WordPress Community, except it's in German, so that's not useful for me.
It's community. All right.
That's super guten. It's guten.
It's guten.
So
bye, all.